All right. I think we can start. Jane, I give the word to you.
Thank you, Nancy. Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Jane Clark. I'm one of the Vice Presidents of the FVE, and I'm really delighted to welcome you all to this webinar, Promoting Veterinary Wellbeing and the Strategies and Resources for Thriving at Work. If we could go on to the next slide, please. Thank you. If you could click through to all of the areas. Thanks, Vika. For those of you who don't know the Federation of Veterinarians of Europe, we are a large network. We represent over 300,000 veterinarians across 46 national associations in 38 European countries. And we have 4 specialist sections: the practitioners, the hygienists or public health vets, the state veterinary officer vets, and those vets involved in education, research, and industry. So we really represent our profession. And as you can see, our mission is to enhance animal health, animal welfare, public health, and protect the environment through promotion of the veterinary profession. And that means both representing our society through our diversity, equity, and inclusiveness, and by protecting the health of our veterinarians through our well-being. Next slide, please. We have a number of governance approaches. We have all of our members, representing 330,000 vets across Europe. We have a General Assembly, our Board of Directors. Our current president is Siegfried Moder, and you will see, as well as Mette, who will come and present later, Piotr and the Senzio. And we have our amazing secretariat, Nancy, who started the meeting, Vika, and others who help us to deliver everything that we do for the FVE. And next slide, please. And you can see here just how those General Assembly, board and sections, working groups and task forces, and the office work together to ensure that we provide a scientific-based advice, policy papers, and advocate from a position of evidence. Again, as I say, animal health and welfare, public health, One Health, education, and our professional responsibilities all come together to deliver those outcomes. And now we have, and I think Vika is going to do this, a little video about what we have done so far in the FVE on mental wellbeing, diversity, equity, and inclusiveness. Thanks so much, Vika. Over to you.
Happy World Veterinary Day. This year's theme is Promoting Diversity, Equity, and Inclusiveness in the Veterinary Profession. But what is it and why is it so important in the veterinary profession? Diversity, equity, and inclusiveness are interconnected values that are meant to recognize, accept, and celebrate the differences among individuals and groups. The DEI principles are important in the veterinary profession to provide a welcoming environment for all individuals, improve veterinary care by being able to cater to diverse patient populations, have a more innovative culture by allowing different perspectives and skills to be brought in by a diverse and inclusive team. What has the FVE been doing to not just promote DEI but also MWB in the veterinary profession? In collaboration with Zoetis, conducted a global survey, conducted webinars on veterinary well-being, veterinary DEI, presenting a report on DEI and MWB in the vet profession, launched the DEI campaign, FVE United in Diversity, engaged in AVMA's Journey for Teams, continue to promote DEI in the internal workplace. FVE strongly believes that openness to mental well-being and DEI issues is a prerequisite for a thriving profession. Happy World.
Thank you, Vika. I think I'm handing over to Mette now.
Thank you, and hello to all. My name is Mette Uldal, and I'm, like Jane, one of the Vice President of the FVE Board. Now, the Federation of Veterinarians of Europe, FVE, aims to strengthen the well-being of all veterinarians and its diversity, equity, and inclusiveness within the veterinary profession, And this is a key requisite to foster attraction to and to create more retention in the profession. FE believes strongly that openness to mental well-being and DEI issues is a prerequisite for a thriving profession. Next slide, please. Now, the culture of veterinary profession. What has that to do with mental well-being and DEI? Well, culture refers to the shared and fundamental beliefs, the normative values, and related social practices. The veterinary profession offers a multifaceted and ambitious career path, requiring highly flexible and resilient professionals. The veterinary culture of today manifests in symbols such as role models like the late James Herriot figure, traditional values, but also tacit assumptions like you could compare to an unwritten rule that veterinarians should always prioritize the best interest of the patient over financial or logistical concerns, and even sometimes anticipated to also be prioritized over the veterinary well-being. This reveals that culturally there are expectations for veterinarians to be kind of a superhero, and we are not expected, to have human traits, being able to experience stress and fatigue, and we need to work on that because we are a profession and we are professionals, but we are also humans. Next slide, please. So looking at the challenges for the veterinary profession, this cognitive dissonance manifests in practice in many organizational structures, policies, and unspoken expectations. There's a lot of positive aspects of being a vet in many different areas of the veterinary profession, but there's also a challenge of the socioeconomics and cultural working climate recognized. And when saying recognized, this is because particularly UK and the US has worked on many reports showing that there are veterinary mental well-being issues to a high degree in the veterinary profession. For example, in the US, the veterinary profession was shown to be the least racially diverse, consisting of 93.8 white non-Hispanics. And this is one of the lowest proportions of people of color compared to other health occupations. And if we look across our profession, I think it's safe to say that we do not have too much diversity in our profession. Next slide, please. Now, to understand the European landscape, FE has run several demographic surveys. And the most recent one was run in 2023, a survey of the veterinary profession of Europe. It was conducted between October 22 and April 23. And if we compare it to the previous one made, which was in 1819, of course, a lot happened. Next slide, please. A lot happened in the world during those two surveys. We've had actually several crises, very important crises. We had the multidimensional COVID-19 pandemic. We had the start of the war, the ongoing war in Ukraine. And also we saw a huge inflation leading to living crisis caused by increasing living cost. Next slide, please. Now, despite the multidimensional crisis, it is possible to analyze those two and compare them to each other, but also just to learn about what has the journey been for the veterinary profession in these years. So the veterinary mental well-being is complex and multifaceted, and we always have to take that into consideration whenever we think of it. But we can also see that there are some very simple factors affecting mental well-being. There's a shift in client expectations. There's challenges for vet to accommodate technological advancements. And other changes in the profession also may contribute to additional stress. Particularly, we see that younger professionals, and this is regardless of gender, that they often experience a pressure to establish themselves in their career. And to do that, they develop different types of coping mechanisms. We also see that younger vets face challenges in balancing career and personal life, or at least younger vets, they express it because I would say that it is some of this is across generational gaps, but I think it's the younger vets are more experienced in expressing when they see a problem, which is really good. Now, of course, they also more under pressure because they manage family responsibilities with young children, many of them, which add to the daily list of tasks you have to do. We see that there's a difference in between genders. If we look at female vets, which are an increasing number in the vet profession, there's a lot of societal expectations to female vets, and there's a lot of culture and gender-based discrimination and bias affecting how the female vets, the younger female vets, they describe the effect on their mental health. Some of the potential factors to consider is that recent graduates, they on top of having, for women, on top of having the dealing with technological advancement and anxiety about, am I good enough as a professional? They also have, in, I would say, all of the countries, at least all I've seen documented, they have a higher load of work within the family when they come home from work. They have to take care of children. They have the mental load. Working within family is mostly taken up by females, meaning that they simply have, at the end of the day, they've been working more hours as a gender, only due to culture and traditions. But of course, that also means that they are more under pressure. On top of that, they experience, which has been documented also by UK in a very nice example, where where senior vets were asked to look at a CV from the same CV, but one of the CVs was from a male and the other was from a female, and it was compared how senior vets looked upon the two genders, where we could see that for the male gender, they expected the male to be more into leadership and good into leadership, whereas the female was limited for their abilities to go in that direction. So we both see that we have stereotyping and biases to create additional stress. So overall, I think it's important to say that for younger vets across genders, there's a lot of wishes for the veterinary profession to be better taking care of them as a person, but also them as persons in families, often young families, when they graduate and start their vet profession life. Next slide, please. So when you look at younger graduates, what do they say about the challenges they meet? Well, it's always interesting because a top score is usually always having sufficient clinical skills, and and we can discuss that. That's a full day webinar on its own. But it's important to acknowledge in relation to mental well-being that they always feel insecure if they're good enough at professional level. And it's a job, I think, within the veterinary profession to make sure that they know they're good enough, but also be there to help them if something should be developed. Then again, the veterinary profession, as an academic profession, the earnings are not very high, not compared to, for example, engineering, and they express less satisfaction with the overall earnings. They talk about the work-life balance. They talk about team spirit. This is support again. And they talk about the difficulties communicating with clients, and they would like to become better at that. So I think if you look across this, it's about actually getting an overall surplus in life where you can afford your house and rent and food. You feel on top of what you're doing, so you're not under pressure all the time. You have time to family, yourself, and whatever else is in your life apart from being a vet. And I think it's all fair wishes from them, which we should work on. Next slide, please. Yes, so all fair wishes, but how to do it? How do we meet these challenges? Well, improving veterinary well-being is to try to pay attention to, often it's small tips and tricks that can do a lot in a workplace if you feel listened to and if you feel respected. So it's about creating a supportive environment for the overall veterinary team. Next slide, please. So the ways veterinarians will meet challenges in the next years there's a huge reason to put emphasis on better communication skills, because we know both from overall society, but particularly in the vet profession, where we have this triangle of the vet, the animal, and the owner, where there's lots of emotion inside this, as well as professional advice, that the owner expectations is not going to be less. So it's really good to look at the communication skills. Next slide, please. Apart from the other skills, of course. In the FE programs on mental well-being and DI, we have different activities. We're working on an annual award for great veterinary workplaces, also an outreach program for secondary school pupils called Vet for a Day, to both to come out and tell young persons, hey, is it something, would you like to be a vet? But also to let them know what is it to be a vet. There's a photo competition for us already in the profession called A Day in Your Life, the diversity of veterinary work, because we would really like to, in between ourselves and beyond our own community, to make people know that being a vet is not only one thing. It's not only being a vet in practice. It's a lot of things, to show that visually just by asking members to give us photos. There's a mental well-being and DI hub at the FV webpage, providing tools and resources and training programs. And if you give me the next slide, we can go a little bit into details with this. So the Great Veterinary Workplace Award is introducing, and this is I'm really looking forward to this, because this is everyone's chance to shine and be recognized for their commitment and their excellence in ideas they've had or the way they do it. And this is a call for workplaces to let us know how they promote professional engagement, how they foster a positive work environment, and how they provide excellent or just well thought through conditions for the team. There'll be 4 categories: small, medium, large, and non-clinical workplaces. There'll be 5 short questions to be answered when you nominate a workplace. And the launch of applications will be at the beginning of May this year. And there's a prize also, a €500 voucher, and there'll be an award ceremony at the FE General Assembly in November 24. Yes, next slide, please. The Vet for a Day. This is about inspiring the next generation. It's becoming an ambassador with Vet for a Day, and I think we all know that many vets actually have been doing that, going to their kids' school or been asked to a local high school or something. But this is a more organized within FE, where you can get help if you want to organize open days at your workplace. If you want to share your story, then you can register as a vet ambassador, and you can also get tools within the FVE umbrella for doing this. And you can visit www.vetjoy.org to see all events and also list yours. Next slide, please. So the photo competition, I already touched upon it. This is about a day in your life. You could take a group photo now from this webinar and enter it in the photo competition, because this is also part of being a vet, to talk about the vet profession. It's about visualizing to create a celebration of the huge diversity in vet work. And vets can send an original photo from a vet or a vet student across Europe, and there'll be 3 winners of a voucher, and there'll be a voting for the best photo. This will be opened. The submission form will be opened in May, and it's orchestrated with other EU Diversity Month initiatives. Yes. Next slide, please. Now here we go with a very important thing also, and this is thanks to the generous support from the Zoetis Foundation. We at FE we are very excited to offer a mentor and mentee program to recent veterinary graduates in the FE member countries. The mentor program supports new veterinarians with a revolutionary 12-month guided mentorship experience that is meant to walk new graduates through the essential skills not covered in vet school. So this actually addresses the challenge which is highlighted by the new graduates, the young vets themselves. And this veterinarian-led remote journey aims to shape new grads and early career vets into confident, capable, and curious professionals, and helps veterinarians at all stages to experience greater joy in their profession. The program will begin in June 24. And if you're a young vet, for all young vets graduating between 19 and 24, regardless of occupation, and there's also criteria for mentors to sign up for this. So the interesting part about this is that you can mentor also across Europe. So this means that for me, coming from being an equine vet, I could mentor young vets being equine vets across Europe instead of only in Denmark, where I live. Of course, mentees and mentors will be matched based on geographical and linguistic indicators. but whatever indicator would create a good match will be taken into account. So to apply for this, you can also visit vetjoy.com and have a look at it. Yes, this was just a little run through the initiative we have within the mental well-being and DI in FE, and I think I'll give the word back to Vika. Thank you.
Good afternoon as well from my side. My name is Vika. I'm an FE policy officer. It's now a huge pleasure to introduce the workplace coaching vouchers, for which we invited many of you. So there are several types of veterinary workplace coaching, and they are tailored to address really specific needs and goals within the profession. Some common types include team building coaching to facilitate collaboration and cohesion among the veterinary team members and the veterinary team members as large as this may be, by fostering supportive work environment. They are communication coaching to harness the skills among the veterinary staff members to foster team and client communication, for conflict resolution, and for delivering difficult news. And very specifically, well-being coaching to address the mental, emotional, and physical well-being, which focuses, for example, on stress management, burnout prevention, work-life balance, and self-care practices. All of these veterinary staff workplace coaching provides guidance and support to all members of the veterinary team, including clinical and non-clinical teams of veterinarians, their assistants, the lab techs, receptionists, and other support staff. There is a growing body of evidence that this veterinary workplace coaching has multiple benefits. So improved team cohesion and collaboration, encouraged to open communication, mutual respect, and trust within the team. Better conflict resolution equips team members with relevant skills to address the conflicts and disagreements effectively. And superior skill excellence identifies areas for improvement and implements strategies to eliminate the bottlenecks or inefficiencies, ultimately saving time and resources. Enhanced employee engagement and satisfaction contributes to a higher job satisfaction among the veterinary staff members and leading potentially to reduce turnover rates. So there are all multiple benefits from this workplace coaching. And this is why we are extremely happy to introduce these workplace coaching vouchers as one of the resources for veterinary professionals that we were able to offer due to the generous support of the Zoetis Foundation on the mental well-being and DI hub. So vetjoy.org links different tools, resources such as webinars, training programs, but as well online and in-person coachings that will equip veterinary workplaces with the necessary skills. The vouchers for the veterinary workplaces to receive coaching in mental well-being and DI aspects across Europe, and so all FVE member countries. This is one of the resources that we are able to offer. And on the website, you see here a snapshot from the website, vetted coaches' contact details and their offers will be listed per country and per expertise. So if you click on one of these icons, you will see the different coaches, their contact details, and their experience and expertise within the subject. Now, some administrative hoops to jump through. Either workplaces can contact the coaches that are listed on the website depending on their needs, or the other way around, coaches can as well approach workplaces to suggest their team coaching. Individual coaching would be out of scope for this program. There is, however, no intention whatsoever to standardize this coaching. So coaching can be very different and must be maybe very different between the countries, between the different sectors, so for practitioners or for official vets, between cultures, and based on the needs of the workplace. However, the coaching should always focus on improving the workplace mental well-being. Workplace staff coaching should last between half a day and 3 days under the lead of the vetted coaches listed on the website. And ideally, workplaces most in need should benefit from this coaching voucher. So coachings that are accessible, low-key, and that would attract workplaces that may never have considered taking part in these coaching activities are most valued. Now to the conditions, they are a few, but they should be manageable. So all participants need to receive a certificate of attendance. We will provide you evaluation forms before and after with some key performance iceberg indicators to measure the impact of the training. And this is something that will be required to submit as well. The application form will be open from hopefully May to November, and workplaces will be reimbursed following the first come, first serve approach, but to a maximum amount of 2,500 euros. So an invoice, we cannot reimburse more than 2,500 euros. To be reimbursed, we would need the signed invoice by both parties, the 2 evaluation forms, and the certificates of attendance as well. And you see here the as well a snapshot from the website. So to apply for a voucher, there's some personal information from the workplace, some information about the coach and the coaching, the documents that needs to be submitted, and the bank information. You see here that this is now the application form in English, but this will be available in all languages, so that this shouldn't be a barrier for applying for this. We will monitor the geographical balance just to make sure that everyone in all regions can benefit from these vouchers, and just to, that there might be at a certain point that we will limit the allocation of vouchers to regions that already received a lot of the funding. And these are the few administrative hoops that you would need to jump through as a coach or as a workplace. And might there be any questions? I'm very happy to detail more of the conditions. But otherwise we can take them as well later on, and we can move on maybe to introduce the coaches and the question and answer session, and so the strategies for veterinary mental well-being. And we are very lucky to have some coaches that are able to share their personal experience and insights on maintaining veterinary mental well-being. So Nancy, hand it to you.
Thank you very much, Wiebke. Yes, indeed. My name is Nancy de Brienne. I'm the Executive Director of FE. And after you heard already from Mette and Wiebke on what we will all have on the web portal VetJoy, that is not active yet, unfortunately, but that we plan to launch in May. We will now get some feedback and some experiences from 3 coaches. And so the first coach is Joep Driesen. Joep Driesen is from the Netherlands. He's very famous of reading people to how to read cows, but he also does coaching for teams. The second coach we have here, for which we're very grateful, is Michael Katikaridis, and he's from Klarheit Consulting, a consulting office that helps to improve communication, resilience training, and leadership training for veterinarians also. And then the third speaker is Lieve Gelle. Lieve Gelle is from Belgium. She's from Arts in Nood, which in English is Doctor in Need. And she helps to give coaching both to human doctors as veterinarians. So that will also be really interesting. So can I ask the three coaches, maybe we start with Joep, to briefly introduce yourself and share a little bit your experience with workplace coaching and how this helps to support well-being and professional development. Joep, the word is yours.
Hello, Nancy. Am I loud and clear? Can everybody hear and see me?
Okay. Yes, perfect.
Well, thank you very much for the invitation. My name is Joep Driesen, and I'm a vet. Worked 2 years in practice, and then I started my own consultancy business in cow signals, looking at cows and doubling the lifetime of cows. And I've been training many vets, mainly dairy vets, but before also all kind of vets in marketing and communication. And so the majority is training vets. I also train advisory teams from different companies where some vets are in a team, and I do a lot of people signals training. It started 15 years ago, and I think we should really work on prevention, and that's how we said we have to really make people better advisors, because prevention of disease is everything, but it's very hard to convince a farmer from changing his normal life work. And so it's also about persuasion skills and body language understanding. What I see in many vet practices, that there's a lot of emphasis on the external customer, but not on the internal customer. And that is, they're looking at customers all the time, and let's try to advise them or sell something, but they don't really look internally very well to their own team. And I have my own experiences in practice where I was sort of had a very hard job for 10 guilders, which was €5 per hour, working 24 days per month, and I was earning 2,400 guilders, which was €1,200. That's my first job 30 years ago. So I recognize everything in your research, like not satisfactory payment, long hours, and inequality. I think is a really big bummer. I've been inspiring many teams, but I see the teams that are doing really well are the teams where the vet nurses and the supportive staff is on the same level as the vets, and even the employee vets are the same level as the owner vet, and that's very rare in the whole business in Europe where I come across. So when they really appreciate every person, as an equal person, then you have like a real good team. But if you say, hey, I'm Mr. Arrogant Big Boss, and you have to go to the shit and you do all the lame cows because I hate to do that dirty work, then you have already a big inequality. And I've seen that in many practices in my life. So if you can create a safe and open environment in your team, then you see also that people thrive a lot better, and that's what I've been aiming all the last years. I train mainly dairy vets in a 4-day training, which is 2 days on cow signals and 2 days on communicational improvement of communication, body language, and also being a better presenter. So how do you present yourself? And normally we have like several vets from one practice. The most vets I have is there are 1 to 10 years in practice, and they are also trained the Young Vet Academy. We did 45 young vets here in the Netherlands to inspire them in their jobs and to give them more power as an advisor. It's mainly advisory skills I've been focusing on more than mental well-being, but I see that the insecurity is very high in many people, and I give them just a bit of support. If they have better tools and better communicational skills and tools, they feel more brave and they can do a better job. I also teach them to ask pain questions and provocative coaching. Don't take everything for granted. Just trying to challenge people. And some farmers need a real big challenge. You just have to kick their shins a bit harder or ask a very serious pain question and see what happens. And that's like a lot of people don't dare to do that. So we train them on that issue as well. Sometimes they have like 2 or 3 people from one practice. So I also had a big project last 5 years in the Netherlands, last 3 years, where we were training farmers and vets together. With some vouchers from the government, we could train farmers for free or very little own price the farmers had to pay. So now the vet practices with 2 or 3 dairy vets were organizing several groups of 10 farmers for me, and then together with the farmer and the vet, we did this training where we push the vet on a better platform. We talk about a lot of issues, especially about housing and management and health on the farm. Everything away from selling medicine, so really about advice. And then we push the vet ahead because they're going to do the welfare assessment on the farms. And now we talk about welfare of animals, not of mental well-being of the vets. But in my project, they go together and they really both benefit enormously from it. And so we grow self-confidence, we make them better communicators, we learn them some provocative coaching and learn them to ask pain questions. And the basics of my training is that being also a good presenter of your own job, so you become also a little bit better salesperson. And you have to use excellent arguments and excellent examples and keep it simple approach. And then you can work together in solutions with your colleagues and with your farmers. So that's what I've been doing in the last 30 years. So I think that was more than 6 minutes. So I better shut up now, I think.
Thank you very much, Joep. We know each other since many years, and
Yes.
I know the enormous work you've done on making cows' welfare better, but also vets' welfare better. So yeah, thank you for sharing this.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Michael, can I go to you to share your experience a little bit? You're on mute. The typical webinar problem. Yeah.
Yes, thanks. So you can hear me, yeah. Okay. Yeah, thank you for your invitation. And yeah, just to myself, I was, I had practice for small animals for about 15 years. And now, since 10 years, I think I'm working as a coach, starting for human medicine, I mean, as supervisor in clinics for the doctors. And the last 3-4 years, so I got more calls from veterinary clinics. And this is one thing I recognize, because when I got a phone call just for, say, for a seminar, for a webinar, or for a workshop, mostly the situation is quite bad. So it's kind of, in my opinion, kind of taboo for mental health. So people, they're a little bit scared to say, what can I do in advance for mental health? So I got the call when it's quite a bad situation. And the situation is mostly, high stress level, this level of the feeling, the workload is increasing all the time. The feeling, the demands from the clients, from the authorities are growing. And this all comes to the point that people feel this, their own self-efficacy, you know what I mean? What you can do by yourself is decreasing. And this is frustrating for the people. And they don't see solution. They only see the mountains here, and they feel so they can't shape their reality. So this is a very, very frustrating situation for all of for all the members. And when we do, say, when we do the trainings, then just to give people the vision, I can shape my reality. I'm not at the mercy of her. I can shape it. And this has to do, and you told us, first, what are your inner talks? So what are your way of thinking? So your inner communication. This has a very big impact about the communication you do external. So get this triangle of mindset, of skill set, and of tool set. I say this, but the thing is, first you have to learn to lead yourself. Yeah, and if you can see the different minds you are in, then you see possibilities you get on the reality. So I think the most important thing is to learn your inner communication, to see in the external communication, it's not the thing what you are seeing, it's always the thing from which position are you looking at. And if you learn this, the communication with my assistant, the communication with my client, the communication with myself gets on a very high level. And this means my resilience grows. This means even a crisis hits me, my performance is restored more quickly. And these are all the aspects. Yeah, so sorry a little for my rusty, not rough, for my English. It's a little bit but I hope you can see my point and what's been working. So if you have some question, please, yeah, go on, and I will tell you.
Thank you very much, Michael, for sharing that. And I think first of all, your English is not rusty. Your English was very good. We understood all perfectly. And I think it's an important point you made. We all ask our clients to come in for preventive care. We should do the same for our workplaces. We should not wait until the situation is problematic, but make use of training before and coaching. Also, from the audience, if anybody has a question on the previous presentations or to any of the coaches, do not hesitate to put it in this chat, and we try to answer it. And then we go to our last coach. Thanks again also for joining. Lieve, the word is yours.
Thank you very much. So my name is Lieve Galle. I'm a project coordinator of Arts in Nood. Arts in Nood is a Belgian project connected to the National Order of Physicians. We mainly give support to physicians, to doctors, but some time ago, the Order of Veterinarians in Belgium contacted us with the problem that they were very worried about the mental well-being of their members, and they were looking for support. And the principle was that veterinarians are formed to support animals, but not formed to support colleagues, not formed to support their humans. So therefore, they contacted us, and we, meanwhile, have a kind of convention for 1 year between the two orders, a convention where Arts in Nood gives support to all Belgian veterinarians who want to. We support on all kinds of mental problems having an impact on the performance of the professional himself. So we support on stress, on burnout, on addiction, on second victim, on suicide, on all kinds of psychological problems. So far, we have almost had 20 calls, so that's not very much because we only recently started. And a lot of those calls who come in with me are mainly administrative, and those are handled directly or reconnected with the order of veterinarians. But if the question of the veterinarian is really psychological, then we make a contact of the veterinarian with one of our confidential physicians. Within Belgium, we have about 100 confidential physicians who support doctors and, since short, also veterinarians, and who are really specialized in stress and so on, as I explained. If the problem is a combined problem, so not mainly mental well-being, but also with a lot of practical issues in the practice of the veterinarian, then we also have a few confidential veterinarians working for us. So for some problems, we include a confidential doctor as well as a confidential veterinarian. So far, so we have a few supports, but besides that, all Belgian veterinarians are also allowed to attend to the webinars Arts in Nood creates for all the physicians in Belgium, and they can also follow those webinars for free. We have a lot of webinars on burnout, on addiction, second victim, and so on. So that's mainly the program that started with us for veterinarians.
Thank you very much, Lieve. And we're definitely going to link also the webinars on our resource because they're really interesting, I think, for everybody. We have a few minutes left, and I see there was one question from Julia. Julia, do you want to raise it yourself? Can we unmute Julia? Yes.
Yeah, it's not a problem. So just a second, maybe you can see me as well. Hello. The question was how to help a colleague who acknowledges the problem but really doesn't want to do any practical steps towards the resolution of the problem. Usually it's they understand the situation, they feel really bad, they're very depressed, but going to the doctor is kind of something that they just push forward and it doesn't help the situation. And it's been for a really long time, for around 2-3 years, that I see a depression in that person.
Thank you very much, Julia. I think it's a recognizable situation for many of us. Does any of the coaches have a suggestion on how to deal with this difficult situation? Lieve, I see you putting your hand up.
Yes. Of course, you can never force a veterinarian to accept help. But what we often do with professionals contacting us is asking if they have a person in their immediate environment, and that can be their wife or their husband or a friend or a colleague or whatever, who they trust very much. And sometimes it helps when that person contacts the veterinarian and tries to convince him to contact an organization for professional help. So we make a detour via somebody they trust really.
Yeah, I am the personal, very close friend. And unfortunately, at the moment here in our country, in Estonia, we do not have any association like you have in Belgium. But maybe we can change that in next 5 years.
Yeah, if people don't see the need of change, then it's not bad enough. Then you have to sort of, that's what I meant with the pain question and the provocative coaching. It really worked for me when somebody did it for me once. Provocative coaching, like, yeah, you don't have to be at home with the family. No, just work your ass off 120 hours per week. Who cares? Hey, you don't need to. No, I think you're doing a great job. You work on your career. So provocative coaching can be very effective sometimes, but it's also a bit tricky. You can only do it when you're close enough to the people, otherwise they will kick you. But if they don't want to change, it's probably not bad enough yet. So you can point a few scenarios. Well, if you keep doing this, then you probably end up there. Or if you think you can still go on, well, go on. But there will be a moment that you have to put some steps. You can do it now, or you can wait another half year. But I wouldn't. It's your choice. Right? You make it their choice, and then they can choose from 2 or 3 options, and then they will probably start thinking about it. It's all, yeah. Successful persuasion is very interesting field. There's a lot of psychology involved. Yeah.
Thank you. That might actually help.
Yeah, and just let me say, I think you can't push too much force. You can make an invitation every day, and say, give this other person that he makes little steps of success, little steps, and don't just support him. Just support him in a way that's not feels too forced. That this person don't feel too forced. If you know what I mean. But so this is the most important thing. Giving this person the feeling of his own self-worth, of self-efficacy. Oh, I always about this English word. Okay,
Yeah.
Germany means Selbstwirksamkeit. It's even not so simple, but yeah, but this is quite a very, very big asset to come out of a crisis.
Yeah.
Thank you.
A video of Brené Brown coming in the chat box, really nice. Yeah, also very good stuff. Empathy.
So thank you very much. I'm afraid we're already 2 minutes before the end of our webinar, and I think we could have gone on for quite a lot longer. Thank you for sharing this resource. And definitely, if some of you have other good resources, please share them with us, because that's what we aim to do in our portal, to share all useful resources that are available. There's also the question, what criteria do coaches need to be on the FE website? And I just throw that back to Wiebke for a second.
Yeah, thank you for this question. So the criteria would be that coaches needs to apply to be listed, and there will be as well the application form with like contact details, expertise, experience, and a reference supported by one of the FEE members would be perfect, but this is not a key requirement. So there will be an application form on the website, and then we will go through this and then list the coaches on the website so that they're available for everyone.
Well, thank you very much, all of you. Thank you to the coaches for sharing your experience, for all participants, for the good questions and the ideas. I hope we managed to convince you that workplace coaching is really useful. We have such a retention problem in our profession. So many veterinarians are leaving our professions. We have to try to keep them in and keep our teams happy, knowing how big the workload is. So the website will become available in May. We don't have a precise day yet, but we will send it to you all as soon as it becomes available. We would really promote you to apply to promote all the initiatives we have, the website, but also the workplace coaching availabilities. Try to make use of it. We have the money available. We don't want to give the money back. We want to use it for workplace coaching, and we will do an update in 2-3 months, another a webinar to see how it went, the types of coaching there was, the geographical coverage and things like that. So with this, yeah, thank you all. Please spread the word. And thanks especially again to the 3 coaches for sharing your valuable experience, and wishing you all a very nice further day.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye.